Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Wix and back with another video. In this one we're gonna take a look at Windows folders, what Windows stores in them, what programs store in them, what they do, and what's their purpose there. Usually this is useful to ask questions like I have Brave browser installed, where is it on my actual drive? Or I installed this application, did it leave any files behind? This will help you check that or find that out and things like that. So it's gonna be a basic overview. I'm not gonna go very much in depth because there's a lot of folders in Windows, a lot of system folders in Windows where Windows keeps its files and binaries and things like that. I'm not gonna go that in depth over those. I'm gonna go over the ones that are more important for you as a user of the PC, not as a system admin or things like that. If you want a more advanced guide, let me know in the comments. Might make one, but I don't know, if usually people who are interested in those just do the research by themselves. So this is just gonna be a Windows folders overview at a pretty basic level. So let's start. First things first, let's make this bigger. That's what she said. Come on, Windows. All right, and if you want to have the same view as me, because as you can see this folder is a bit faded, this one is a bit faded, that's because they are hidden folders, they are protected folders, so by default you might not see them. So in order to see them, you go here to view, to show, and then you go to hidden items, and then you're going to be able to see the same things I'm seeing. This is a fresh Windows installation, it's not it hasn't been used. I only installed PowerShell and Brave browser, so you won't have many folders. But if you have more folders in the C drive, it's either Windows put some more in there, or some applications you installed put some folders in there. This is the Windows drive where Windows is installed. So let's go through them. Through the ones that are not that important, I'm gonna go quick just to give an idea of what's in there. For example, this WinRE agent, you're probably gonna see it and be like, oh, what's this? I never installed any WinRE agent. Yeah, this is used by Windows to do rollbacks. So if it needs to roll back an update, if it needs to roll back to a previous Windows versions, you will use files that and logs that are stored in here, and it also needs this recovery folder. So I wouldn't really delete those because Windows might need them unless you're sure you're not going to do a rollback. But even when you do updates again, it will come back. So yeah, that's the rollback folder for Windows, one of them, because system restore points are not in here as far as I know, so that's stored somewhere else. But yeah, perf logs, this folder is at least famous for me because it's on every machine and it's empty every time. But if you try to delete it, Windows will put it back. That's because, I mean, I don't know why, but what should go in here is performance logs. And as far as I know, if you do some trace with a resource monitor, then you'll have some files in there. Otherwise, it's empty, and even if you delete it, it will come back. So skip over that one. And then we have program files, which is here twice. And now you might be asking, but why is it twice? Well, because in program files you have your installed applications that are 64-bit. In the x86 program files you have applications that are 32-bit. And you might be saying, but Wix, why does Brave have a folder in x86? Didn't you say it's only for 32-bit applications, and isn't Brave a 64-bit application? And you would be correct, but if you check the folder, you will see that only the installer and the updater are 32-bit for Brave software. The actual Brave software is in the program files, the 64-bit one, and if you dig in here, this is where it lives. This is brave.exe. This is the Brave browser. So yeah, program files, 64-bit installed applications, x86 32-bit installed applications. This is where the application is installed by default if you don't customize the install path, because most applications these days let you do a custom install and specify where you want to install them. Then they won't be in here. Let's go over to program data. Program data, as Microsoft says it, It's a place for applications to store data for standard users, basically that don't need elevated privileges to read the data. And it's up to the applications actually to use this folder or not. Some do, some don't. If I go in here, as you can see, Brave browser doesn't use this folder at all. But if you see the folder around, just know it's data for standard data from programs that don't need elevated privileges. Programs might choose to put data in here, or they might choose to put it in your user folder. It totally depends on the program. That's the thing with Windows. Applications have freedom when deciding where to store stuff. I mean, not too much freedom, because you can't store, application won't store things in Windows System 32, for example, because they will need admin for that. But they can choose if they do in program files, if they put it in your user folder, if they put it in program data. So it's up to the application to choose where they want to store things, and of course where they have rights to write. And then we go to users folder. Users folder is a folder where each user on the PC has their own home folder, basically. I'll show that later because that's the most important for us. I'll skip over it now, and we go to Windows. This is where Windows is installed. This is all the folders that make up Windows. Of course, it has a lot. There's a lot, and the famous System 32 is in here as well. This is the System 32. I'm not gonna go over too many details in this. Just know System 32 is Windows system files, system binaries, things like that. And most of it are Windows's things. If you want a more advanced guide about what folders in here do, I don't even know them all, but I know a few. For example, as a fun fact, this browser core is actually a very lightweight Edge browser, as far as I know. And when you launch a game launcher, for example, and that launcher is made in HTML or something, they actually run an instance of this browser core, so you don't load up a full-fledged browser, just a little lightweight HTML rendering window. It's this browser core that's in here in Windows, just as a fun fact. So yeah, just bottom line, this is where Windows is installed. Everything in here is Windows's things. I will touch one of them because I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, you wanna free up some space, just delete where is it, just delete the prefetch folder. Never delete the prefetch folder. It won't break your PC, but Windows uses this one. Windows uses this prefetch folder to cache applications on your system and Windows applications to load faster and boot faster. So never delete prefetch. Yeah, you will make some room, but it will slow down your PC. If you want to make some room in a safe way, just use the disk cleanup thing. Let me see if I can show it. Just go down here, type disk cleanup. There we go. And this is the disk cleanup system, as you can see. And you can go in here and then you can clear these delivery optimization files. Those are some updates and allow Windows to clean. You also can do clean up system files. Click on that and it will open a new clean thing, disk clean, and it will show as you can see, I mean you can't see because it's too small, but it said Windows update scanning files, and if you go down you can see you can clean driver packages and many other things in here. But anyway, have a look for yourself. Yeah, the point is, do not delete prefetch with your hand. If anything, just use disk cleanup and see what Windows can delete. It will know what to delete safely. Alright, let's continue. And we arrive at the users folder. Open it up and you'll find a bunch of folders in here. The default folder, you see it's hidden by default, but it's visible because we did that view hidden files thing. This is the template for all the users folders. So if I create a new user on this system, what Windows will do is copy this folder over here with a different name, with the name of the user, and set up some things for it. So it's a template for the user's default home folder. And if you go in here and delete pictures, for example, new users on the machine won't have the pictures folder because you deleted it from the template. That's why this one is hidden. You shouldn't mess with it. And then this is my current logged in user folder, because I only have one user on this PC. And then we have public. What public is, let's say I have another user on this PC called Johnny2. I log in with Johnny2 and I want to go see what Johnny has in its documents folder. Windows won't let me, because you will say, hey, that's not your folder, you can't look in there. If I want to share files between users on the same machine, I just put them here in public, because it does what it says on the can. Everything in here can be viewed and read and written by any user on this PC. If you put it in a users folder, then you cannot access it from another user, except if that other user is an admin of the PC, then you can. And let's go into my Johnny folder, and you'll see app data. This is application data. This is where most apps store their data related to my user on this machine. And contacts, I don't think this is used anymore. Then you see a list of desktop documents, downloads, favorites. These are the folders that you see up here. So basically this left part, there's shortcuts to folders that exist on the drive in here, in C, users, your username, and then let's say downloads. This is where the downloads actually live on the drive. The things in here are just shortcuts to these folders. So you can safely remove this one from here because it's a shortcut, it won't delete your downloads. And then the most important folder in here would be the app data or app store data. Let's go in it. And here you'll see 3 folders. Local is where apps store data for your user that are local to this machine. You'll understand a bit later why I'm saying local to this machine. Local low is still local data, but it's as Microsoft describes it, it's low integrity data. I don't know what exactly that means, but usually you don't need to look in there. And roaming is application data that will be synced between multiple PCs if you log in with a domain user. So if you have a domain user that's managed by Microsoft Azure Active Directory, then this roaming data will be synced across PCs. It's still application data, but it's application data that will be coming with you basically. If you log in into a different PC with the same domain user as this PC, this data here will be synced. So let's go into local. In local, you will find, as I said, application data for your user on this local machine. Most of the application would write their data in here, including some will hold some save games or something like that. And this is a folder that you should check after uninstalling something. Usually what happens when you uninstall a program, they will leave behind a folder in here with user settings, because it is your user folder. In case you reinstall the application and you want to have the same setting as last time, they will leave settings behind here. I usually clean them up when I uninstall something. I come to this C users, my user, app data local. I come in here and check if the application left a folder behind, just to clean it up, because if I reinstall it, I kind of want to reset the settings, because sometimes I reinstall it because it's not working with the current settings. So yeah, if you are in a situation like that, come in here, delete their settings, because they usually store them in here. And this is the main folder where applications store data for your user. This is where they leave data behind. I suggest checking it after you uninstall something. And then if we go into roaming, as I said, this is the folder that gets synced. And as you can see, there's Adobe for some reason. I don't know why this, the Flash player, okay, whatever. And then it's mostly Microsoft settings that will come with you, Microsoft data. And just as a few notable ones, usually you don't need to look in here. Applications that you install won't put anything in here unless they, I don't know, it's some management software or something, I don't know. But I haven't seen too many applications right in here. But the most notable ones would be, let's say, these, you want to see where these shortcuts are that are pinned down here. So if I click on Brave, what gets executed? And that is in C users, your username, app data, roaming, Microsoft, Internet Explorer, use quick launch, and user pinned, and taskbar, and these are the shortcuts that get executed when you click on this shortcut down here. This is useful if you want to run this program with certain command line parameters, for example. Like I click on Brave here, but I want it to be ran with a specific flag in the command line. Then you edit this shortcut, you right click on it, you go on properties, and in here where target is, you just add your flags dash whatever, click OK, save the thing, and then when you click on this pin, it will run this shortcut with your custom command flags. And this is another thing, I don't know, as I just thought of it right now. If you install a program and you have a shortcut to it, and you're like, where did I install this? Because you can't find it. It's not in program files. It's not in program data. It's not in your app data. Where does this get run from? If you have a shortcut, you can just right click on it and go properties as you saw. And then in the target here, in the target field, you will have a full path to the application. So that's how you find where it's installed. I usually sometimes do that because I forget where things installed by themselves. That's the thing with Windows. It lets applications do too much, to be honest, put files everywhere. Okay, so that's the taskbar that I covered. And there is one more that I would like to show, and that's the start menu, because these pins, because they are in roaming, as we can see, these pins will come to you to a different PC. If you log in with the domain user on the other PC, you'll have these pins. And also the start menu. It's in Windows, start menu, programs. Let me show the full path up there. So the start menu lives in here, in your user folder, app data, roaming, Microsoft, Windows, start menu, and programs. These are the programs that you see if you go here and click on Windows and go to all apps. These are the apps that are read from here. And of course you can move some to the top. Let's try it. I'll just do OneDrive with an exclamation mark, and then it should go to the top. See, OneDrive is up here now. So this is the start menu for your user. It will sync between PCs, and then in the same place in Windows we have the send to. Of course there's multiple folders in here, but I'm not going to explain every single one of them. I'll just show the more curious ones. The send to menu. This is where the shortcuts for the send to menu are stored, which means if I click, I'll just show it right here. Let's click on this one, right click, and then show more options and send to. If you see, things that appear here are actually these ones that are in here. I'll show the full path. So we see users, your user app data roaming, because it's going to be synced to other PCs if you use the domain user. I keep repeating, if you use a domain user, because people might think I'm making one user here, I'm making the same user on another PC, and they wake up and they don't have their data. No, it needs to be a domain user. Yeah, in this path, Microsoft Windows send to, you're gonna have the shortcuts that appear when you right click and send to a thing. So this could be useful if you wanna add a shortcut to Photoshop here, for example, and you wanna right click on a picture and go send to Photoshop. Of course you can double click the picture and it will open, but if you have multiple graphics programs, I don't know, and you want to send it to a specific one, you can add the shortcut in here and then right click on the picture, send to Photoshop or whatever, and you're good to go. It goes to that software. And I think that concludes my overview of Windows folders. Let me know in the comments if you want a more detailed guide about Windows folders, about the Windows itself folders, like these ones that are in Windows actually, or some other folders in Windows. Let me know in the comments. If not, I hope this gave you a overview. I hope you learned something, because that's the whole point of the video. And I'll catch you in the next one then.